So the storylines here, Jeff I'm Tony Leonardo here with Jeff Poster again for this game between Boston and New York. Is that Boston is pushing their way towards a pretty successful, perhaps undefeated season. They look very strong. They played a game in the win just yesterday here on Memorial Day weekend on Saturday. This is Sunday, and defeated somewhat handily the Philadelphia Spinners, who were fighting desperately to try to win that game and failed. And so here they are again facing another win situation against, again, another opponent that needs to get a win, and they're, should be in the comfortably. They're feeling comfortable, I think, the Boston guys here.
Yeah, they're definitely feeling comfortable so far this season. Each game seems to be another stepping stone in the right direction for them. Their margins of victory are getting bigger and bigger, it seems, with each one. It started a couple weeks ago against D.C. They set the league record for that game with the highest goal differential in it.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw yesterday against Philly another 8-goal win for Boston. But today the real factor is both teams have the same opponent, and that's going to be playing the Wind. And yesterday was a little bit windy, but today is much different here in New York.
Today, looking like yesterday, we had 15 to 20, kind of hovering around 15, and today it's upwards of 30 miles an hour. Yesterday's wind was a crosswind, and today is a upwind downwind game, which, if you're familiar with Ultimate, of course, you know that the wind could be your number one opponent, and that's what's going to happen here today. We predict. It's hard to say. Boston has so many throwers. New York has some big guys that can bunch it up there, can push it up into the wind and rip one out there. So maybe the players will win the battle against the wind. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
We'll see. Boston did intentionally warm up facing into the wind during their throws and their warm-ups earlier, and we did see some success. Not a ton, but they did have enough there that I think they can overcome some of the odds here with the wind against them. But New York in the prime position here to start off, with Boston pulling in New York will be facing with the wind, not against it.
Yeah, so to start the quarter, it looks like New York will be going downwind. I'm sorry, they're pulling to Boston, who will be going upwind. There's Lucas Murphy with the pull, and he's going to drop him down into the near corner here. I don't know why that keeps on going on the audio. So Malachek with disc up to Cooper, and they're going to stay on this near side. This is the side that's protected by the stands, and so the wind isn't as harsh as when you get it into the open field on the far side. So, if they can, by all means, they'll just kind of work it down the sideline. Marquette up to Pryle. Marquette and Pryle had monster games yesterday in windy conditions. Marquette with the disc. Fakes looking for a boost. Gets it underneath to Cooper. Cooper swings it up into the middle of the field to Clark, who's a lefty, who's able to put that easily to Malachek for the goal. So here's New York with the opportunity now on offense, facing the wind, and a zone from Boston to start. Mazer and Avergan back to handle, along with Kevin Terry. Avergan with this right now, number 18, swings up to Terry. This is New York in their whites for the first time. Mazer, one of the stars for this team with a lot of throws, and he's one that can kind of get it up. And they're not afraid to use the far side right now. And Mazer's going to put it up in there. He's got Kuzmowicz. He's going to try to read that, but there's a defender, Teddy Brower-Jarris. Does Jarris get there? He falls down.
Teddy Brower-Jarris there with the great layout D. He might have been shaken up a little bit, though.
Okay, so we just saw Teddy Brower-Jarris getting worked down on the sideline over there after he rolled his ankle on the defensive huck from Mazer on the play. Hirschberger looks for a big yardage off the bat, and he finds his man, Malachek. No, I'm sorry, that's Hatchett who just checked in the game. Hatchett now with the chance to give Boston an early 2-goal lead. Gets up to Anderson. The wind pushed that one down.
Yeah, that one definitely dropped, but a nice cut there before by Hatchett. He was all alone. He just checked into this one.
Kevin Terry up to Jonathan Cox, who just checked into the game to replace, I believe, Kuzmowicz. Up to, looks like, Gillis. Now Faust. Faust puts it. He's going to test the wind. It's going to die down. Does anyone get to it? It dies down a little too much. It's a good try to test that wind right there.
Yeah, I think both teams so far here in the early goings are trying to see what they can do. It does seem like right now the wind might have died down just a little bit,
It's been yes, it swirls, fluctuates a little bit.
It comes and goes, yeah.
When we were down throwing earlier, again, probably about 1 out of every 4 throws had a clean, not a lot of wind.
Yeah, and with the wind dying down, you want to, if you can score in that end zone while it's down, you got to take advantage of that. So we'll probably see a lot of hucks with the wind down going into that end zone.
Now swings it up to Hirschberger. Last time he ripped that forehand, he's going to do it again. This one could sail a little bit. I don't know if Anderson's got the wheels for that. But that's kind of a little bit of a punt, too. Just get field position.
Both teams doing that so far today. Not a lot of what we saw yesterday with Philly not really willing to put the disc up in the air and really huck it down the field. So
we've seen New York already jack 2 into the end zone upwind side, both with a decent chance of success, actually, decent throws. And just a great D by Teddy Brower. Jarris, that's going to stay up just enough for Mazer. Mazer up to Jonathan Cox. They're not afraid to work this far side again. Kevin Terry. And the wind's kind of into a lull at this moment, giving them an opportunity. Faust, back to Terry. Up to Mazer. Mazer looking for someone. Not finding anyone. Has to swing it back to Lucas Murphy. Lucas Murphy from Stagnetti Enterprises looking for, gets Mazer, finds Mazer on the give and go. Oh no, it falls down. The wind pushed that one down surprisingly to Mazer, I feel. This one almost got pushed down again, too.
It looked like Will Neff was ready for that one at first.
Neither was Mazer. Mazer almost gets it back. Mazer jacks it. Anderson jacks it. Oh, but he's got an open man. Oh, what a read. Had to come back for it.
All alone.
Chris Wade, I think.
Chris Wade, it is. Yeah, it wasn't here yesterday. He's got those fresh legs, so he can get down that field quick and be all alone for that one.
Okay, so Boston, again, accustomed to this. 2-goal lead, 2-0 to start the game. Will Neff with the pull. We just saw Teddy Brower Jarris go down with an ankle injury, rolled it, and he's over there on the sidelines testing out. And we might see him later on in the game if he feels all right with it. New York now, Kevin Terry, bombs it deep, hangs it. Neff has got the height and the read on this one. And it just goes out of bounds. Good play by Neff to make sure.
Yeah, excellent play by Neff. He had 2 New York players right there with him, and he's able to kind of squeeze in between and knock that disc away.
Yeah, he had the good read on it the whole time, and the sidelines was a factor. Hammers it. Neff hammers it over to the side. So Doherty, I believe. Up to Reinhardt. Reinhardt fakes. Another lefty out there. Jake Taylor, 0-0 with the disc. Up to Myers. Crowd's pumped up here. Oh, almost. Milati almost got in there with his the sneaky D. Up to Doherty. Doherty forehands it over to Reinhardt, who backhands up to Anderson.
Mike Miller looking to take off there that time.
Here's Neff to Doherty. Well, they're working it patiently here. Anderson's going to put it. Hangs it. Does Terry read this correct, or Frogger? Terry gets to it, hangs up in the air.
What a grab there. That's Reinhardt.
Wow. Okay, we got 4.5 minutes left here in the first quarter, and Boston already showing their dominance. Comfortably head in an upwind downwind game. You get a 3-goal lead, 2 breaks like this, and you've got to be feeling good about yourselves.
Yeah, and that's purely the reason New York took that timeout. They've already found themselves in a 0-3 hole, and you don't want to get down early, especially to a team like Boston, who they don't let up, so they'll keep pounding it in on you. See how they respond now.
See if they try to work the near side instead of the far side, although they had success on the far side, which has got to be heartening for them.
And there we go, a little bit more towards that farther hash marks there in the football field. That far side.
Yeah. Faust to Ross Littauer, who's in the game for the first time, I believe. Tries to get it back down to Mazer, but can't find him. Lucas Murphy's going to make the upfield cut and gets it. There's a good lefty side there. He's going to sneak this into Mazer for the goal. Great timeout.
Beautiful cut there.
Yeah,
Mazer, great cut.
So it wasn't a give and go, but Mazer snuck into the end zone. Okay, now New York, who scored on the upwind and very little time there, about 15-20 seconds they were able to move it up there. A nice little crafty offense to spring free a lot of their cutters and use that far side very effectively with Murphy, the lefty, to throw the goal to Chris Mazer. So coming up here, Malachek with the disc. Let's see how Boston responds. New York should try to get 2 points out of this. Usually an upwind, downwind game, you want to try to convert the downwinder after you score upwind. Graham looks like he's run out of time. He's going to have to do something very quick, and he rips it quick. It's going to hang up nicely, though.
Clark's going to have a chance.
And he's got this. Peter Pyle stretches it even further. So bailed out on the high stall count. Graham just jacks it up, and they're going to get a score out of it. Maybe Doherty punches it up in the air, but collects it for the score. Okay, so 4-1 Boston Whitecaps here. 2 upwinders now they've put in, and that's huge. They got it back right away after Jeff Graham, who, hey, you want to keep him back behind the disc, right? And what does he do? He laces a clean upwind look. Oh, what a layout. They're calling this down.
They wave it off.
Oh, wow. I thought Kuzmowicz had a real good look at that. I thought he might have gotten underneath it, but the observer, James Kalinske, right there on the play, calls it down. And check back in Hirschberger. Hirschberger to Cooper. Sorry, that's Malachek. Malachek back to Taylor. Up to Hirschberger and punches it in for the goal.
Knocked Seth Reinhardt down when he caught that one.
That was a good use of the word punch. He really did punch it in.
Exactly.
Okay, 5-1, 3 minutes. It's already Boston's put up 5 points in the first quarter in a windy game. You see this Detrich is throwing across the field, so certainly the wind is keeping up. And this pull looks like it'll get not even to the 50. Knocked down by the wind at the 45, and Malachek will push it down at the 42. So 40 yards really, actually 30 yards. Double team comes in real quick here.
Yeah, Boston.
Well, it's not a bad look.
I was going to say Boston's defense would have been really tested here with the short field, but the tough throw.
I don't know if New York came in with the mindset at that point of just trying to not to turn it over with the short field themselves to give Boston another upwind opportunity or what. Mazur did have a decent look at that thumber. That's not a traditional throw, you see. Stahl again gets up high. Just wait with the disc. That got pushed down by the wind. So that thumber from Mazur doesn't hurt them. He picks up the disc, walks it to the goal line. Now he's going to look for a play. He's got Faust cutting across the end zone. He wants to dump it up to Faust, and he does for the score.
Quick score there by New York. Boston had trouble with the wind. It's clearly come back, so New York able to take advantage that time. 5-2, 2:35 left to go here in the first quarter. As Boston set to receive this pull as it dances in the wind and finally comes down just in front of the 30-yard line. That's going to be Malachek will pick this one up and get things started for the Boston offense. Malachek, a low throw. That's knocked down by New York. So New York will take over right at the 50. Chris Whitecaps starting things off.
Is that Whitecaps from Binghamton University?
It is.
Oh, Baker can't come down with that one. Well, unfortunate. The wind bobbled that one up in Baker's hands, and it dropped similar to what we saw yesterday.
Danny Clark over to Marquette. Marquette finds Pryle. Boston moving quickly here. Cooper's going to send this one to Malachek and run it down, and he does. Catches it and scores. Malachek's normally the one who throws those. This time
right, they
on the receiving end.
That one. Keeper saw Malachek going streaking and decided why not just loft the forehand up there.
Yeah, and this is an aspect we kind of talked about a little before the game, especially with the wind as a factor. Coaching's going to become a big part of this game now, especially for New York being down 4 goals early in the game. They really got to dig in and try and recover here before it gets out of hand.
Well, here's the first attempt. Oh, great read by Ben Faust after Terry's throw is a little short and hot and fast coming in. But still a little too fast, and Faust can't come down with that. And Boston will pick it up with Mike Miller on the disc.
And you see Boston quickly get into a vertical stack here. And last time they had trouble here, so what do? Call timeout.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a good call. Well, after the timeout, they've brought in their offense as Boston. So Malachek with the disc and facing a little bit of a wind and a little bit of a junky defense. Anderson over there on the far sideline for New York stretches to the deep man, Danny Clark. Whitecaps here looks like he's on Cooper on the mark. A little body contact. Whitecaps is Trying to muscle Cooper out of there. I don't know if that's such a smart foul necessarily. You want to give him yards when they're trapped down there. Cooper to Marquette. Marquette tries to lace a forehand and does. Completes it to Pryal. Pryal looking. Slips it underneath to Malachek, who's going to put that. He's got a man. He's got space. He's got air into the disc, and it makes it look easy. So Boston here. Mike Miller pulling the disc. Wow, what a comfort zone they're feeling right now. 3 upwinders already in the first quarter for the Boston Whitecaps. 33 seconds for New York to try to score their first upwinder. Mazer with the disc. I'm sorry, their second upwinder. They have put one in as well. Mazer finds Faust. Faust looking for Nulati. Can't get to him. Has to swing it over to Avergan. Avergan up to Mazer again. Mazer looking for Nulati. They're going to need to get more distance here. Gets it up to Hunt Alcott instead. Alcott underneath Nulati. Nulati's got 12 seconds. Gets it to Avergan. 8. Now he's going to have to he's going to have to boost it, and he does.
Good chance here.
Yeah.
It's going to float.
He's got 3 He's got 3 New York Rumble players there. Oh, and he comes down with it.
What a catch there.
Then Faust goes up and gets it.
That was nice grab to close out the quarter on a high note. That one just floated all day, and a big crowd of people, and Faust the one that comes down with it.
Well, back in again. Here we go for the second quarter after the uplifting score. Ben Faust skying on the Jody Avergan put for New York. And once again, Boston starting downwind. And, you know, Jeff, we haven't seen that be too much of a problem for them. We've counted 4 upwinders just in the first quarter alone for Boston.
Yeah, the wind really hasn't been a factor. There's a little bit of contact there against New York. But, yeah, the wind for Boston at least has not played too much. They did have trouble in the to our right, that end zone, that one play. This one gets skied up.
Wow, Danny Clark makes it look easy. Well, Boston here using all of 21 seconds to start the second quarter scores an upwind goal. And huck to Danny Clark, who finds himself loose in the back of the end zone, and with the height mismatches that they're presenting, has no trouble putting that down. And now let's see if New York can respond. Mazer to Faust. Faust swings it back to Mazer. Hung up a little bit, but Mazer's able to get there with 2 hands. Gets it to the middle of the field to Terry. Terry to Faust. Faust wants Bosco. Finds Bosco. Now they're running kind of a traditional sort of, operation here on the handle. Just swing, dump, swing, dump, swing. Try to get work both sides. Terry Mazer guarded well by Chris Waite. Terry's going to have to put it. He lifts the forehand. He's got a defender back there. It's Teddy Barrera-Jarris. Check back in. And what a sky! Beautiful play from New York. Just about 9 minutes left here in the second quarter, and Ben Faust doing everything he can to keep New York in this game. It's 8-4 Boston. Pulling down into this corner is Lucas Murphy, where Alex Cooper will pick up and move it up quickly to Malachek. Malachek faking a couple throws, has to drop it down to Taylor.
Malachek the threat there with the deep one.
So is this man, Jeff Graham. Jeff Graham rips it deep to Peter Pryal, sneaks behind the defense of Baker. Pryal into the corner for Danny, who almost no-looks this, and Pryal's going to come up with it.
Pryal from behind Malachek, able to run that one down. Malachek had made an in-cut and couldn't really find it, but Pryal backs him up there nicely, comes down with the score. 9-4 now here, 8:27 left to go in the first half as Boston starts things off here with the pull. Peter Pryal, that last score, had picking up where he left off yesterday pretty much. Yesterday he had 5 goals, 2 assists, 1 D, had a great game, and a nice point right there for Boston.
I wonder if he likes the wind. Yesterday, of course, the windy game. Today, another windy game, and Pryal is making the most of it. Avergan with the disc. Avergan looking. Looks like Jake Herman. Herman fakes and gets it back to Mazer in the middle of the field, who's going to be their point person. Avergan fakes the throw and holds it with his left, and now he wants Mazer on the upcut, but he's going to have to work it. The time's running low. Oh, it goes over Mazer's head. Does he get to the MAC? No. Instead, knocked down by Jack Hatchett.
Yeah, Hatchett. Good defense, though, by Misha Horowitz there on the mark, able to force an awkward throw that the wind just pilled up.
Ooh. Miller tried to kind of just plant that in there, and it sailed a little bit high, and not able to come down with it is Reinhardt. And, well, New York's got a chance. They're going to be buried pretty far down in their end zone, though.
Yeah, we saw Boston stuck in this spot. Not quite as in the corner before, but they had a lot of difficulty trying to get it out from the end zone while facing the wind.
This isn't quite a coffin corner, as it's the wind isn't so directional, but it's still not pretty to be down there, not fun. Avergan gets it back to Terry in a little give and go. Mike Miller guarding Mazer. The defense on Mazer has been pretty good. Oh, it's going to be tight, but caught. Gillis picks that off the turf. Gillis looking. Up to Avergan. Side to Avergan. Wow, they look really bunched up here. And that turnover is a little bit of cause because there's not a lot of spacing.
Not a lot of movement either from New York, not making as many cuts, and their handlers aren't having much space to work with and to go to.
So like when a pitcher is throwing a no-hitter, we don't want to say too much, but we're going to bring it up. Boston has a history. They went this core of these guys, 13 or 14 of this Whitecaps team, in 2010 had a marvelous undefeated 54-0, I believe, season.
Ooh.
Unfortunate drop there on a tough scuba for Jonathan Cox there. So they went 54-0 all the way to the finals of the National Club Championships, USAU Championships, and lost in the finals, much like their hometown Boston New England Patriots. Oh, what a D there. Well, we have a call.
Now, I think it looked like right around the 40-yard line there was some contact.
So before the...
away from the disc.
Okay, so they're walking Neff back. Might have been a pick call on the offense. Broward Jarris can't hang on. Short porch for New York. Terry picks it up. So that undefeated season, of course, ended not too happily for Boston in both football and in ultimate. And right now the Whitecaps are facing that. You know, they're doing their score to Anderson, and the crowd loves it. Murphy with the pull gets it to the 45 of Boston, so they got some distance to work here. That low pull seems to work somewhat effectively here. Malachek, though, is the man who could stretch that to the end zone with a throw, no problem. Instead, he lofts it to the near side here, where he's got
that's Zid.
Zid
yes.
with the disc here. Zid almost takes off the head of Cooper, but gets it to Graham. Graham scoobers it over the top to Marquette, who had a fantastic game yesterday. Marquette fakes the scoobers and instead dishes it up to Graham. A little give and go here. Pryor with the disc. Pryor looking. Pryor still looking for the end zone. He gets stalled out, I believe. Let's see where the call's coming from. Maybe there's a pick call. Oh, it's a contact call.
That's
on
a contact
the
call.
On it looks like it might be on Anderson with guarding Clark, so they're going to move it back to, give it back to Pryle is going to walk it up 10 yards and have another opportunity here as Clark tries to get the line but can't. And he does find Clark on the I.O. Wow, what a crafty throw.
And Danny Clark did a nice job moving around, changing position, throwing his defense off their guard and getting open there, and Pryle with a nice throw.
Mike Miller with the pull for New York, for Boston, down to New York. Gets it to Dye at the 45. Bosco will pick it up for New York.
Good positioning here for New York to start.
Because Moich makes a play. Able to get both hands on it. But no foul call. Faust not able to come up with that. Nice D by Reinhardt to be there on a tough throw. A little bit behind him and inside. And looks like Taylor gets it up to Reinhardt. Reinhardt just got bodied up there by Faust. Myers with the disc to Anderson. Anderson's willing to throw that deep, but he's able to work it under to Doherty, to Miller. Miller to Doherty. Doherty looking. Flipping the disc around before he drops it low to Anderson, who picks it up. No problem. Anderson will put that to the end zone, but too hot.
Hits the back fence there under the Eagles Nest sign. Boston's handlers are just constantly moving, throwing off their mark.
And this is the D line, too.
Yes, yeah. And their handlers are just so Their feet their pivot foot's moving.
What did Graham tell us? He told us they usually play 5-2.
Yes.
And I was like, what is that? And he's like, 5 cutters.
5 cutters, 2 handlers.
Right. And he said today they were going to be maybe more 4-3.
4-3.
Wow, what a D there.
By Doherty.
Not making anything easy for New York. Nothing is coming easy for these guys. Miller.
Nice job by Miller again.
Well, he did fake out his man and then try to lay that into the wind with his receiver to giving it a chance, but went a little too far, and Avragen's going to pick up the turnover. And New York try to get some field position here. They don't want to turn it over short, but he's got no one streaking deep, unfortunately. I think Gillis got trapped under. He's got to go deeper, and Terry's pushing him deep, saying go down there. Sorry, that's Faust. Faust puts it down there, but Doherty makes the play.
Nice play by Doherty, reading that disc well and timing his jump perfectly to tip that one away.
Faust was encouraging Gillis to keep going, and they kind of wanted to punt that away and not turn it over with the short field for Boston. But Boston hasn't had too much trouble working the long field either. And let's see, Taylor will loft one up. Should be D'd up here, and it is. Nice play, though.
Yeah, Reinhardt lost his balance, it looked like, right there along the 40-yard line and couldn't recover in order to read the disc well and get back for that. Good defense, though, by New York.
I think that was Gillis that got the D. Kuzmo is streaking. Let's see if we can find them. Kuzmo with the disc. Faust does a little crafty over the top, but Terry can't hang on. Looks like we have a call. It's going to be a timeout. So they've got 1 timeout left in the half, and they're going to use it now, which is a good idea. Okay, checking back in here at Roosevelt Stadium here in Union City High School. Brandon Malachek with a disc, who saw his man wide open on the sideline, the far side, and laces it over to him. And back to Graham. And New York with a zone kind of look here. Yeah, they're kind of a matchup zone, so they're going to shift to a different men are going to guard the handler here. So
Malachek threatening that deep throw again.
Marquette can't come up with that. Slightly behind him from Danny Clark. And Murphy will get it into Colin Van Lang, who's checked into the game for the first time, I believe. Van Lang moves it up quickly to Joe Anderson. Joe Anderson looking to find some spacing. Swings it over to, this is Dave Stoddard, number 9, who's a new addition to the roster for New York. Stoddard with the disc. Stoddard finds Anderson. Anderson looking for somebody. It's a zone from
Boston switched to a zone. They've got a 2-3-2, it looks like.
They're just trying to make it difficult for New York.
Ooh.
An unfortunate drop by Cox there, who's had a pretty good season so far, but not a great game today.
Maybe just coming in a little too strong on it. Couldn't handle it.
So 40 seconds left for Boston. We've seen them do this all season long, is find ways to score with the clock running down. See if they do it again. Marquette lofts one.
Ooh,
up
great
by Rob
defense.
Baker.
That was one of those ones we see Danny Clark a lot of times. He's all alone, and that time he can't get it.
Well, maybe they learned on the first couple. New York now will use its timeout. That's a remaining timeout, 29 seconds left, to really try to get this score. So we'll come back to you after this timeout. Okay, disc back in for New York. 26 seconds left to go here on Memorial Weekend Sunday here at Roosevelt Stadium. Terry, Avragen. Well, they're moving backwards. Not a good idea. And that Scuba floats out of bounds. 14 seconds left. This is not what they wanted, giving Boston a chance to score yet again. Neff pops this up in the air to Anderson, who has to spend some time getting to that before he hucks it into the end zone.
This will be it.
This makes the end zone. It should be good. It's caught, but short. He's still got a second left. Did he collect the goal? I don't think he realized it. Welcome to the second half of the Boston Whitecaps versus New York Rumble. It's Game 6 for the New York Rumble. Game 7 for Boston Whitecaps. Whitecaps at 6-0 after their first game of the doubleheader this weekend, victory over Philadelphia. And the Rumble sitting at 2-3. A loss here puts them at 2-4, but not out of any contention yet for the playoffs, with 2 teams below them also with 2 wins, respectively, for the Spinners. 1 win for the DC Current, who are playing today. Jeff, what did you think about the first half there? What were some thoughts across your mind off the top of the bat?
Well, like I said at the start of the game, both teams would really be playing the same defender, and then it would be the wind. And Boston really overcame that greatly, and we saw them score a couple in that facing upwind that they had really no problem with, while New York had some issues, some overthrows, and some discs that really got caught up by the wind and just not being able to be handled. But Boston really got out to the hot start, and they scored 4 straight in one little run, and now they're up 11-5. And we'll see if the wind, which I think just picked up again here right before we start the second half, continues to be a big factor so far today.
Couple unforced errors again from New York Rumble. The drops playing a factor, and their inability to kind of close the gap here. Again, pulling from left to right. That's Whitecaps with the pull. As Boston will receive downwind for the 3rd straight quarter. Not entirely sure why that is. Malachek up to Graham. Graham, who's been staying back for the handle a little bit. Marquette fakes the deep, gets it to Danny Clark. Wow, this fast moving again. Every throw is within 2 seconds. Malachek fakes again, finds Cooper on the upline cut. Cooper wants Clark, finds Graham, pops it up too high for Graham. Graham's gonna have to sky. Baker with the D. Oh, we have an injury though. Baker and his own man, looks like Robbie Gillis, crushed into each other to try to get up over the head of Graham, and Gillis is down. I feel like he's going to be all right. I suspect we'll see him back in the game. Baker, though, with the D on the overthrow from Cooper. Baker streaking wide open on the sidelines, but they can't find him with this zone defense now from Boston. And Murphy's going to have to find Littauer instead, who laces it to behind the cutter. So can't find Bronner, Jesse Bronner there, number 10, and Ross Littauer can't find him. And so far, more of the same to start the second half from New York. Taylor up to Pryle. Pryle to Marquette. Nice fakes from Marquette again, who fakes the big backhand to open up this forehand side. Fakes on this Boston team.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we see Jeff Graham there in the corner, left, right, really quick. It keeps the defense on their toes and not knowing what they're going to do, because they really can do both things that they threaten.
Yeah, and are quite willing to. Wow, what a quick score there, huh? Baker loses his man. Cooper just turns around, dishes it right on up to Danny Clark.
Cooper was just standing there waiting for it. I don't know if New York switched to his zone, didn't have him on the man there, but Cooper was all alone, so why not give it to him?
Well, here's the pull from Boston. Going down to the far corner where Kevin Terry is going to have to track it down, and he does. Swings it over to Mazer. Mazer up to Faust. Faust to Gillis. Behind him. Turnover.
Wind might have pulled that one up a little bit, but still.
Neff to Brower Jarris. Teddy to Hirschberger. Hirschberger wants his man in the corner. Terry Roth for the score. See if we get the traditional backflip.
There it is. Roth we haven't seen too much today, but making use of his time out there.
Well, a windy Sunday here. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Memorial Day weekend at Union City High School. The Roosevelt Stadium on top of the high school with New York as a backdrop. New York City and the Empire State Building in Midtown off to the right of your screen here. The direction in which New York is going to try to score in here. Scuba over the top from Faust to Gillis. Gillis looking for Bosco. Drops it to Bosco. Bosco had Terry, but the backwards movement isn't going to help them too much. Terry fakes the hammer. Laces it underneath instead. Effectively. Scuba over the top for the goal to Mazer. Lucas Murphy with the pull at a raucous stadium here. People are enjoying themselves. A lot of folks are out. A lot of families here. See, again, I mentioned earlier with the kids and their balloons and face painting down below. We saw a juggler at halftime.
We did. It was impressive.
We saw a juggler on a unicycle juggling knives in this wind.
Ooh.
Oh. Baker hopefully gets credited with that D for catching that overthrow. And Iggy Ease is back there and gets it to Stoddard. Stoddard up to Jonathan Cox. Cox has to find Stoddard on the inside out to Colin Van Lang. Van Lang shifts it back to Stoddard. Stoddard pivoting. Lang. Van Lang. Anderson. Anderson fakes. Anderson fakes again. Anderson to Murphy. Murphy's got a wide open Cox. Stoddard. Stoddard holds. Fakes up through the middle. Drops it to Murphy. Murphy swings it up to that side to Iggy. Iggy. A new addition to the team. He's got a Stoddard over here on the hammer side, but that's difficult throw. Van Lang back to Murphy.
Boston's doing a nice job keeping New York on that far sideline.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anderson too late over here on the near sideline to leak into a throwing position for Stoddard to get to. And Murphy's looking around. That's a tough throw, but he just manages to squeak it in there to Colin Van Lang. And Baker with the disc now. Back to Murphy. Well, they're using a lot of throws, and with this wind, you don't want to use a lot of throws because something bad can happen eventually. Stoddard. Dave Stoddard to Murphy. Coach Maroon for the Spinners yesterday told me that Stoddard was a key member of the Philadelphia Spinners last year in their run to the championship. So we'll see if he helps up steady the New York team. Said he was a really great presence and that he was just always open. Baker trying to say that he bobbled that disc up and
tried to sell it.
Yeah,
that one hit the ground.
Yeah, it bobbled down a little bit. So, whoa, Cox almost gets the D there on the throw from Marquette to Cooper. Cooper looking downfield. Surprised they've held it this long.
Yeah, that's true. Boston not known for patience, really.
Why is it not in the end zone already? Okay, it's getting close now. Graham, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And Peter Pryor with the great cut in the back of the end zone.
The team that they played with, we're talking about 2 years ago, went 54-0 against the best teams around the country. So the pull-in from Boston gets it to the 30, some decent distance here. And Mazer with the disc, with Bride to his right. Hammers it up to Faust. And Faust, this is a good-looking play here. Hangs up a little bit,
chance.
Though. Macks it away. Hirschberger smartly pushes it out of the back of the end zone.
Great D from Hirschberger. He used one arm to kind of feel out where his man was so that he didn't create any contact, and he takes that other right arm and just smacks the disc too far away for anyone to grab.
Yeah, it's an equal height matchup. Normally, Boston kind of is taller than most of their opponents, but against Gillies is an equal match there, and he had to do what we just saw, which is make a great play. Anderson up to Taylor. No, I'm sorry, Hirschberger. Hirschberger, who we've decided looks like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
They could have been separated at birth.
Wow, Gillis tried to get that back on Garfield. I'm sorry, Hirschberger. But Hirschberger went quick to the disc and used his long arms to get there. Another attempt from Hunt Alcott to crowd Brent Anderson, but Anderson gets the lofting. Faust had to go up and air bounced over him.
Stevens.
And Teddy Brower-Jarris collects it. Sorry, Eric Stevens.
Teddy Brower-Jarris, he was the intended target, but it just kept floating up there. I don't know if Teddy would have had a shot at it. Stevens leaps out of nowhere and reels it in.
There's 3 minutes, 55 seconds left in the third quarter, and we are already resorting to talking about the movies on the Boston bus. With this 15-6 score, Boston comfortably ahead and seemingly in control of this game. It would be hard-pressed to decide that they will have a chance of losing. So, Mighty Ducks.
It continued this morning.
What did the Mighty Ducks do in Mighty Ducks 2?
That's an international competition, so maybe Boston looking to maybe someday prove themselves as this team on the international level.
Okay, all right, I like it.
They turn to that one.
What happens in 3? That's the bus ride back, we're thinking, Mighty Ducks 3?
Maybe, we'll see. You got to pass the time on those buses somehow, right?
Bosco drops it to Mazer, who we were talking about earlier. They named their team District 5 after the Mighty Ducks first issue. Mazer was a key component of that team. And Anderson gives them a shot. Joe Anderson lost it up to Brian Anderson on the D, and collected.
Oh, what a grab.
Way to follow that up. I believe that's Hunt Alcott there. Follows the play. And Here's the disco pull from Lucas Murphy. It's going to lay in. Cooper elects to let it go by, and Malachek's going to have to pick it up after it rolls out the back. Malachek will walk it up to the front of the end zone.
That's the longest pull we've seen today.
It might be, actually, yeah. It landed nicely in bounds and full field for Boston to work with. And you're right, maybe New York can kind of use the momentum from that upwinder. Whoa, big hammer from Malachek. He finds Pryle, but Pryle not able to come up with it. And I just lose a lot of fantasy points on the drop and the throw on that one because I have both those guys. Not cool. Ross Littauer, Lucas Murphy. Opportunity for New York. Van Lang, Littauer, Murphy. Trying to see where the openings are. He's got Bronner in the middle of the field. Let's see if they find him. They do. Looks like Wilkes is in there for the first time after an injury first half of the season. Murphy still trying to find where the openings are. They've got a nice zone here. It lies it up high, but Cox there to collect it. Cox dishes over the top, but just the wind pushed that down.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, here's a Mac disc. And downed by Andrew Wilkes.
Very smart D right there, knocking the disc straight down to the ground.
No foul call. Littauer wanted a foul on his hammer. Said he's got a chance to make a D here. Whoa, but Malachek gets crushed but comes down with the disc. Hammers it right up to his man,
Zid.
Reinhardt. Zid? Oh, whoa. No call? Call? Looks like Bronner might have got some of the body on that one. You're right, Zid in the end zone here. And they're going to have to walk that back. The gutsy hammer from Malachek into that wind.
Right off his catch, too. No hesitation. We've seen Boston move quick, but that's one of the quickest throws we've seen today. Malachek sending that right up. I mean, Zid was all alone.
We might get a penalty call here. The referees are talking about this right now. Might have been a little bit too much body on it. I think it's going to be clean. Oh, we have an injury. So Bronner hurt himself on the D attempt there on
like
Zid.
He might have jammed one of his fingers.
So Joe Smash will come in from Zid. Tries to lay it up for the goal, and he does. Here's the pull from Will Neff. Well, it's a nice sunny 64 degrees, climbing a little bit here on Sunday. A nice afternoon game here for Rumble, and who are riding a 2-game win streak coming into this game here, but that looks like that will end. Boston, we know, undefeated. Nilati can't come up with that one. And it's been a series of drops yet again for New York that's costing them.
Boston taking their time here as we approach a minute left to pick up the disc.
Neff to Horowitz. Misha Horowitz swings it. Eric Stevens. Stevens drops it back. They are kind of burning clock. Up to Neff. Neff to Teddy Brower Jarris. TBJ finds his man, Eric Stevens, for the goal. Terry with the disc. To Joe Anderson. Anderson back to Terry to Bosco. Mazer stretching it, but Bosco can't find him. Now he does. Mazer up to Anderson. Comes down with a tough throw. Uh-oh. Max up. Is he going to stay in bounds? Greatest attempt. And he does it.
Oh!
Is that gonna be a goal? No, he called him out of bounds. Close.
That was still, what an attempt there for New York. You don't see a Greatest get off too often, but
Just had a foot on the line, did Kuzmowicz, number 1 for New York. The crowd's not happy. The fans wanted that one. Hirschberger's going to lift that deep to Hatchett. Can't quite come up with a great layout there from Jack Hatchett, who, by the way, did not go to Wisconsin. I mistakenly said that in my last broadcast. He's a Tufts graduate.
Now he looks like he might have hurt something on that layout.
Yeah. Might have gotten the wind knocked out of his lower region. I don't know how else to delicately put that. I don't know what the term for that. Bosco's going to sub out. Gillis is going to come in. Kuzmowicz out. Faust in. They usually cut out these
Right.
Terry picks up the turnover. Got a body contact foul. He'll get 10 yards. Reinhardt on the mark. 6-5. So we have a call here still. I might have to reset the clock. And they do reset the clock. I hear them punching it in now. 10 seconds. Terry with the disc. Mazer, 7 seconds. Ease.
There's
Ease
your
puts
move.
Will Neff comes down with
Boston
it
had
instead.
that sized up pretty well right
Yeah,
there.
they sure did. Well, Jeff Poster here to my right. I'm Tony Leonardo. Welcome to the fourth quarter of the game between the New York Rumble here at home against the Boston Whitecaps. We just saw Kids Day, and the kids throwing some discs into the to a trash can, trying to win a little bit of a prize. And both of Coach Kerwanta, he's got 3 kids here. 2 of them able to try to make some shots into there with the disc. 2 of his little girls dressed in pink. Do you have any kids, Jeff?
No.
How old are you?
24.
And what are you waiting for?
Oh, jeez.
Big hug off the bat from Mazer with a forehand. He's going to try to. Can he milk this in?
What a
We're going to
run.
call that a goal. He does. Mazer, boom. That'll get the crowd excited. Drops it down, rips it. Just absolutely cash money on that throw. Crowd getting excited after that. The host, Brett, pumping them up to try to get a D block here. Let's see what they can do. 8 seconds off the clock on the Mazer huck. That's going to land in and roll out the back. Beautiful, beautiful huck there. Pull from New York, which will give a full field now to Malachek, who pulls it, brings it up quickly. And he's looking to move it up quickly again to Pryal. Well, their quick offense, again, has not yet been slowed down. Pryal drops it down to Taylor. Taylor zips one across the field to Zid. Zid with the disc. Zid pops it over the head of Anderson, but he can collect that. Anderson double team now and sneaks it through there to Marquette, who's got a wide open Pryal.
Found just enough space.
And that's going to lead to a jailbreak opportunity. Oh, what a block! Jonathan Cox sneaks in there. On the give and go, Cooper thought he was going to be uncontested on that. And Kevin Terry finds Jonathan Cox to Baker. Here's a chance now. He's got a man deep. Marquette's guarding the deep. He's got Wilkes in the middle. Baker's going to have to do something. He gets stalled out.
Nope.
Timeout.
Timeout.
Just in time. Okay, coming back in off the timeout call, Mazer. Fake. Finds Terry. He's got a wide open man. And I don't think this disc was properly called in yet by the referee, so they're going to have to restart this. Mazer with a penalty for delay of game and trying to start it too quickly. So you wait for the whistle now. Mazer faking. There's the whistle. And Mazer still faking. Oh, Iggy with the
What
catch.
a catch.
Iggy Ease comes down with that. Mazer's going to have to preserve possession. Finds Mazer. Mazer has Bosco, but hammers it instead. He's going to have to dive for it. Is Cox. No goal. Just hit the ground a little too much. Cox made a beautiful layout bid, but too much turf.
You can see New York starting to play with a bit of urgency here in the fourth quarter. Still down 9. They have to be a lot more urgent, though.
Jack Hatchett back in the game. From Tufts. Hatchett. Chris Waite. Chris Waite gets it tipped down. The quick thinking Kevin Terry a little too quick on the release there as Nulati found himself covered quickly by Malachek, who collects the D.
Yeah, good heads-up run there. I think it might have been Hatchet, actually, again.
On the D?
Yes. Read the disc very well.
Does he have blue cleats? He does have blue
He
cleats.
does. Have those blue cleats.
So Hatchet with the D, and now a turnover back, though a drop from Boston gives New York a chance to have a 2-goal run here. Mazur will walk it up. The lefty. So 7.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. New York started the score off great with a huge rip from Mazur to Gillis for the goal, and then Mazur throws another goal for a 2-goal run. Malachek for Boston here. Now they're playing a zone. They're letting these guys wide open. I don't know why. It's too much space for this Boston team to work with that much space.
And really, all Boston has to do is just hold on to the disc, no drops, and they'll walk away with this one. But right there, Marquette can't come up with it.
Well, again, that peculiar strategy pays off.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, whatever works. Absolutely. I mean, why not try to mix it up if the man's not working? So now they're trapped in this end zone here. Littauer and Murphy are going to have to work it and find the seams in the defense and the cup to try to get something going. And a drop. Littauer can't quite come up with that one.
He might have slipped a little bit there in the end zone, and just the disc went with him.
Cooper now looking for a connection, and he does the same lefty up the field pass to Marquette for the goal. Here's the pull from Mike Miller. Today's a big day in Ultimate. It's the College National Championship semifinals. 2 big matches are happening later on this sunny day here out in Madison, Wisconsin. Here's a nice push. Mazur marking Kuzmowicz can't come up with it.
Just a little too far on that one. It was a great effort there on the layout. Just maybe an inch or two far away.
Yeah, got his hand on the disc. Had to go down, lay out for it.
It's true, yeah.
Running fast. And I thought he was going to get it at the end there, but that's a hard play. That's why those layouts are catch of the weeks that fantastic, because it's not easy. Miller, a couple fakes, lays it into Myers. To Doherty. To Hatchet. Hatchet, miscommunication with Neff.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Neff thought he was throwing to a receiver behind him, and I think Hatchet was looking at Neff. Webster McBride now. He gets it into Jake Herman, I believe. Herman fakes it to Mazur and then slides it back to Webster McBride for the goal. Five 20 left in the third quarter here. Malachek with a short field for Boston. Marquette making a couple of series of cuts, but drops the disc. Came in a little tough for him. Stoddard back to Murphy. Littauer playing with urgency. Wilkes. Got Pryle just had to kind of hang out there. Wilkes still a little rusty.
Good defensive cut though for Pryle, jumping in front of that one, knocking it down.
Marquette fakes the rip. Drops it instead to Anderson. Brent Anderson finds his man, Zid. Zid under to Pryle. Pryle doesn't need to risk too much. Instead swings it back to Cooper. Cooper's surveying the field now. Cooper just gives an easy look to Marquette. Everything's a little easy sometimes. Marquette with the quick dishy up the field to Cooper. Cooper 5 yards, hammers it, risky into this wind. Malachek at the back of the end zone, not going to get there. Almost went through the goal post.
Yeah, I didn't think that would. Style points, you can get them out if you're coming down with that
we
one.
all want to see one go over the back fence there. That about 30-foot high fencing to prevent balls. Baseball. They play baseball here. They play football on this field.
This is one of the most interesting stadiums I've ever been to.
So, yes, it used to be a stadium, and then they built the high school, and then they had to destroy the stadium to build the high school, and so they decided to put the stadium on the rooftop. And that's why we are here where we are. Well, another overthrow from New York as the wind popped that one up into the air. And some body contact. No, Marquette just falls down and gets it to Cooper. Cooper motioning for Pryal to move. Count's getting up high. He's going to have to crazy hammer, and it's going to be a turnover.
Cooper's having a tough time right now handling the disc. That's back-to-back possessions for him that we haven't been able to see him connect with somebody. And throwing up risky hammers.
Yeah, he's talking a lot to his teammates right now. He's a little frustrated for sure. Litauer's going to take the turnover at the stall mark. 3 minutes left in the half, and a quick timeout from New York. So after the clock reset, gains New York an extra 6 seconds. Mazur will check the disc in at 3:05 left in the half. And swings it to Terry to get to the center of the field. Good defense downfield by Boston, preventing some easy looks from New York. And Mazur is going to have to throw into the hand of Jack Hatchett with a nice D.
Hatch trying to quickly race down. Let Chris Wade all alone.
2 quick throws, 2 easy open men, and that's what happens with too many turnovers as Hirschberger to Waite to Reinhardt for the score. Okay, here's the pull from Boston. If you see across to the far sideline where Boston, well, this pull's going to kind of kick up into the wind and sail back down again. Boston's already started to rest its starters here with a 9-goal lead in the third quarter. So Jeff Graham is out of the game right now, and we're not likely to see him back, I don't think. He's got a little bit of a hamstring tweak, and he's trying to keep that hamstring warm and trying to keep it loose, and being in this game isn't necessarily the best for him. What a catch. Wow, Faust goes out for that and gets it to Kuzmowicz for the goal. Faust puts his whole body into it, stretches his arm out, makes the play that he's been making all day. He's really one of the stars of this game, the highlights for New York. Well, this is it's going to give a little advantageous roll. No, the wind's going to, Murphy slides up to stop the.
Good stop there by
stop
Murphy.
the disc from drifting further back to easy score territory. Colin Van Lane guarding Malachek. Malachek fake. Swings it to Cooper. Cooper up to Taylor. Taylor fakes. Crowd's getting into it. Taylor lofts one to Pryal, who bobbles it. So he's going to get a call.
Yeah, he's looking for the contact. Thought he might have gotten pushed in the back, and he does, so.
He's going to try to figure out if he moves the disc up or not.
No, just from the spot of the foul.
Fakes one way. Wow, what a throw. He goes low underneath Jonathan Cox's hands to slide it into Zid.
Yeah, nice slide there by Zid. I love when you see a guy slide on a turf field because you see all those little black beads come up behind him. So Zid leaving a nice trail on his slide.
So along with Graham on the sidelines is Danny Clark. These are some of the veterans of this Boston Whitecaps team that are going to rest a little bit here with a comfortable 9-goal lead. Minute 49 seconds left here in the quarter. Mazur lofts one up. The D is there. Oh, off the hands of Gillis, and kind of a peculiar location for him. 2 hands to go down to a quickly dropping hammer.
Yeah, Mike Miller made a fantastic bid. I don't think he actually touched it, but his leaping, he took a fall there, trying to come up with a D.
Ooh. And Hatchett keeps his feet in bounds to get that. To Meyer. To Taylor. Taylor's been lacing those forehands all game long really nicely. He's swung that out to the side. Trying to decide what this is. It looks like they're going to give the disc to Myers.
Might have called a strip.
Yeah. Myers, oh, well, disc never lies. Hits the turf instead. And Terry will try to capitalize. Kevin Terry with the disc. Oh, nice no look right there.
Myers getting caught with the mistakes on defense as New York finds an easy score. Wide open man there in the end zone.
Yeah, let's do that. 53 seconds. Let's look at my next week's games. Do we have the list of those here? We'll get to those in a minute. 50 seconds left in the third quarter. Boston by 8. Malachek up to Jonathan. Well, I know one of the big games. It's New York playing at Philadelphia. New York and Philadelphia will, the winner of that game will have an inside edge to the second and last bid at the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. So that's going to be a pretty big match next weekend. Make sure to check that out.
Why not one more for Peter Pryor?
Why not? Why not? Well, we're seeing the pools this direction are looking increasingly grim. At the beginning of the first half, we saw one get pretty far from Whitecaps, I believe, who's been out with a little bit of that chest injury he suffered. And no one since has been able to get it past the 50. So the short pool gives New York a short porch. And Terry able to come down with that one from Mazer. And swings it up to Avergan, who gets his body in front of the disc there. That's the way to prevent the wind from knocking out her hands. Just really get your body in there like a football player. Clock is coming down. Oh, what a recognition. Looks like it's up to Jake Kerman or Andrew Wilkes, I want to say. Maybe Ari Weitzman. Faust. We're going with Faust. Terry to Faust for the goal. There's a pull that gets past the 50 and starts the roll before Jonathan Cox stops the disc.
Wonder what Boston will do with
4
seconds.
We saw him do the MAC line last time. Let's see if they have a tip drill here.
Out of bounds.
Malachek instead just buries my fantasy team by throwing it out of bounds.
Can't have it all.
This is so true. So true. So, end of the
game.
That is the end of the game. How did that happen? Was that the third?
No, that was it.
Wow. Wow.
You're absorbed into it too much,
I've been
Tony.
really amazed by how quickly that game went. Well, there you have it, folks. 21-13. Boston does not get to their highest point differential win as they had done earlier in the season, but keeps an 8-goal advantage all throughout. Handshakes down the line here. And, again, Boston Whitecaps remain undefeated at 7-0. And New York drops down to 2-4. And, again, their battles are still yet to come, although they will face this Boston team 2 more times. So they're going to have to find out a way to try to get a win on these guys, because if it doesn't happen for them, they might be out of the playoffs from New York. So on behalf of myself, Tony Leonardo, and Jeff Poster from Union City High School, Roosevelt Stadium, home of the Soaring Eagles, I want to thank you for watching, and the crowd here appreciates it as well.